This is Biointron's 2024 Antibody Industry Report, Year-to-Date 2024 Insights, Trends, and Analysis, the December update. In this report, we'll talk about antibody-drug approvals going global. The United States remains at the forefront of antibody-drug development, but other markets such as China are catching up. Oncology continues to dominate as a therapeutic focus, with cancer remaining the top therapeutic area for antibody drugs. However, the reign of bispecifics and antibody-drug conjugates is here. Collaborations across the industries are steady, with the majority of mergers and acquisition deals worth over $1 billion being in the first half of 2024. The market size is also expected to grow, with the 2024 monoclonal antibody market size of $252.6 billion projected to reach $497.5 billion by 2029. In particular, the antibody-drug conjugate market is growing at an unprecedented rate. This report aims to explore the events and trends of the biopharmaceutical industry of 2024. So far this year, 22 novel antibody drugs have been approved. These drugs range from monoclonal antibodies to bispecifics and antibody-drug conjugates. ADCs in particular are extremely exciting as cancer therapies, being projected to surpass $50 billion by 2030. 2024 saw several large collaborations and acquisitions of up to $10 billion in value, primarily for ADCs and multispecifics. Investment in antibody-drug startups focus heavily on the use of artificial intelligence and bispecifics for inflammatory and immunology diseases. In 2024, we had several novel antibody-drug approvals. Crovalimab is a monospecific, humanized IgG1 monoclonal antibody targeting complement C5. It is used to treat atypical hemolytic uremic syndrome and was approved on February 8 in China. Zolbetuximab is a chimeric IgG1 anti-Claudin 18.2 monoclonal antibody. It is indicated for HER2-negative gastric or gastroesophageal junction adenocarcinoma treatment and was approved on March 26 in Japan. Zenibrutinib is a humanized monoclonal antibody targeting TCR-V-beta9 to destroy pathological T lymphocytes. It is used to treat ankylosing spondylitis and was approved on April 25 in Russia. Benmelstobart is a humanized IgG1 monoclonal antibody targeting PD-L1. It is used to treat small cell lung cancer and was approved on April 30 in China. Tarlatamab is a DLL3 targeting bispecific T-cell engager therapy. It is indicated for treatment of extensive stage small cell lung cancer and was approved on May 16th in the US. Ivonescimab is a bispecific antibody targeting PD-1 and VEGF. It is indicated for non-small cell lung cancer treatment and was approved on May 21st in China. Continuing on, we have the combination of mazarelvimab and zamarevimab as a humanized monoclonal antibody cocktail. It is indicated for treatment of rabies virus and was approved on June 4th in China. Enlonstobart is a human anti-PD-1 IgG4 monoclonal antibody. It is indicated for the treatment of recurrent or metastatic cervical cancer patients with positive PD-L1 expression. This was approved on June 28 in China. Donanemab is a humanized IgG1 monoclonal antibody that targets amyloid beta N3pG. It is indicated for the treatment of adults with early symptomatic Alzheimer's disease and was approved on July 2 in the US. Exatilimab is a humanized IgG4 monoclonal antibody targeting CSF-1R on monocytes and macrophages. It is indicated for the treatment of chronic graft-versus-host disease and was approved on August 14th in the US. Zeliakimab is a fully human IgG4 targeting IL-17A. It is used to treat adult patients with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis and was approved on August 20 in China. Lunakizumab is an anti-IL-17A humanized monoclonal IgG1 antibody. It is used to treat autoimmune diseases related to the IL-17 pathway, including psoriasis, ankylosing spondylitis, and psoriatic arthritis. It was approved on August 20 in China. Furthermore, we have odronextamab, which is a hinge-stabilized, fully human IgG4-based CD20 and CD3 bispecific. It is indicated for treatment for relapsed or refractory follicular lymphoma or diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, and was approved on August 26 in the EU. Stapelgibart is a humanized IgG4 monoclonal antibody that targets the interleukin-4 receptor alpha subunit. It is used to treat moderate to severe atopic dermatitis in adults, and was approved on September 13th in China. Eronizumab is a fully human IgG1 targeting PCSK9 and is indicated for treatment of primary hypercholesterolemia and mixed hyperlipidemia and HeFH. It was approved on September 26th in China. The combination of ipilimumab and tuvonrelimab is a PD-1 and CTLA-4 bifunctional antibody. It is used to treat recurrent or metastatic cervical cancer and was approved on September 26th in China. Ongeruzumab is a human anti-PCSK9 monoclonal antibody and is used to treat primary hypercholesterolemia and mixed dyslipidemia and was approved on October 9th in China. Marstacimab is a human IgG1 monoclonal antibody targeting the tissue factor pathway inhibitor. It is used to treat adults and adolescents with hemophilia A or B without inhibitors. This was approved on October 11th in the US. We also have zanidatamab, which is a HER2-targeted bispecific antibody used to treat unresectable or metastatic HER2-positive biliary tract cancer. This was approved in November 20 in the US. Sacituzumab deruxtecan is an ADC targeting TROP2 and is used to treat adult patients with unresectable, locally advanced, or metastatic triple-negative breast cancer. This was approved on November 27th in China. Zenocutuzumab is a HER2 and HER3 bispecific antibody and is used to treat non-small cell lung cancer and pancreatic adenocarcinoma. It was approved on December 4th in the US. Cozubelimab is a human IgG1 anti-PD-L1 monoclonal antibody and is used to treat advanced cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma. This was approved on December 13th in the US. There are now a total of 196 antibody drugs approved in at least one regulatory agency in the world, with the majority of 46.15% targeting cancer diseases, as shown in the pie chart below. Immune-mediated disorders follow at 27.18%. They are highly diverse in formats, including VHH, scFv, and Fab antibodies, and are produced with variable expression systems such as CHO cells, murine cells, and E. coli. On the right, you can see a graph of the rate of drug approvals rising each year. While the FDA has approved 114 novel antibody drugs historically, other regulatory agencies are gaining, especially China's NMPA, with the majority of antibody drugs approved from any regulatory agency, with 12 out of 22 drugs in 2024, as shown in the table below. On the right, you can see a graph of historical first approvals of drugs across the US, EU, or the rest of the world. Here is a trend of antibody drug first approvals globally from 2022 to 2024. While cancer is still dominating the antibody therapeutic space, metabolic disorders are growing in focus this year. In the past 3 years, both cancer and immune-mediated disorder areas have remained fairly stable, while antibody drugs for musculoskeletal and ophthalmology diseases have decreased. Here are the top 10 companies for antibody drug development. Roche leads with a number of antibody therapeutics that have been commercialized by a massive margin at 20. Merck's Keytruda, however, remains the top-selling antibody drug, putting the company at the top in total pharmaceutical sales. Keytruda itself brought in $21.65 billion from Q1 to Q3 of 2024. Here's a graph of antibody drugs that are approved versus late-stage clinical trials in 2024. Cancer, immune-mediated, and inflammatory disease antibody drugs remain strongest in interest. While genetic diseases currently have no drugs in late-stage clinical trials as of 2024, respiratory disorders is an area to watch. Similar to the trends with antibody drugs that have been approved, cancer remains the top priority in clinical studies this year. However, the variety of disease areas being researched have grown across the past 3 years. Ophthalmology has strong interest, growing from 0.9% of all disease areas in 2021 to 3.4% in 2024. Cancer drugs are still the majority of antibody therapeutics being developed, since the affinity of monoclonal antibodies allow them to target tumor cells and block tumor growth factor signaling pathways, induce cell apoptosis, and inhibit neovascularization. The constant region of the antibody can also induce tumor cell death via antibody-dependent cellular cytotoxicity, complement-dependent cytotoxicity, and antibody-dependent cellular phagocytosis. Diffuse large B-cell lymphoma is the most common and aggressive form of non-Hodgkin lymphoma, representing 30 to 40% of cases worldwide. Since 2019, over 1,500 clinical trials for DLBCL have been launched globally, with Asia Pacific leading with 41% of trials, fueled by China's robust clinical research efforts. Phase 3 trials for mosunetuzumab and selinexor show promise, particularly for relapsed or refractory DLBCL cases. Despite recent advances in immunotherapies targeting single tumor-associated antigens, patients with multiple myeloma eventually relapse. Innovative treatments like bispecific antibodies targeting antigens like BCMA, GPRC5D, and FcRH5 to engage T cells can induce durable responses in heavily pretreated patients. Trispecific antibodies are also in the works, such as ISB 2001, a CD3 plus T cell engager co-targeting BCMA and CD38 to improve cytotoxicity against multiple myeloma. Bispecific antibodies are emerging as a transformative class in cancer immunotherapy, potentially surpassing monoclonal antibodies like Merck's Keytruda as the new immunotherapy backbone for solid tumor treatments. With over 100 bispecific candidates in clinical trials and 11 FDA approvals in the past 3 years, companies such as AstraZeneca, Summit Therapeutics, and Genmab are racing to develop innovative therapies. Bispecifics' unique structure allows them to target 2 antigens simultaneously, enhancing efficacy while reducing toxicity, particularly in cold tumors that are unresponsive to traditional immunotherapies. The appeal of bispecifics lies in their precision and cooperative binding. Unlike combination therapies that administer multiple drugs, bispecifics integrate 2 mechanisms within one molecule, ensuring specificity and minimizing side effects. This approach also enables immune cell recruitment directly to the tumor site, boosting localized immune responses. Companies like AstraZeneca are leveraging this design to achieve significant efficacy improvements, as seen in promising trial results for their bispecific candidates targeting PD-1, CTLA-4, and TIGIT, particularly in non-small cell lung cancer. Immuno-oncology is entering its second wave, marked by renewed interest in bispecifics and other modalities like ADCs, while the first wave, led by Keytruda and other PD-1 inhibitors, revolutionized cancer care. Its success plateaued with limited response rates. Smaller biotech companies are now driving this next phase, exploring additional immune pathways and refining therapeutic designs. With a projected market growth from $8.65 billion in 2023 to $485 billion by 2033, bispecific antibodies are poised to redefine cancer treatment and set a new standard of care. Antibody-drug conjugates have remained at the forefront of biotech innovation, with major acquisitions and licensing deals continuing into 2024. Following Pfizer's $43 billion purchase of Seagen and AbbVie's $10.1 billion acquisition of ImmunoGen in 2023, demand for ADCs have surged, fueled by the success of therapies like AstraZeneca and Daiichi Sankyo's Enhertu, which generated over $2.5 billion in 2023. Next-generation ADCs, building on lessons from pioneers like Seagen and ImmunoGen, aim to redefine core design elements such as targeting, payload delivery, and linker technology. Though ADCs are not new, advancements in payload and linker technologies are helping to make ADCs a rapidly growing therapeutic class within the cancer space. Valued at just over $12 billion in 2024, the global market for ADCs is projected to reach $44 billion by 2029. Several significant acquisitions and licensing deals this year highlight advancements in ADC design. For example, Johnson & Johnson's $2 billion acquisition of Ambrx Biopharma brought ARX788, a HER2-targeted ADC with a non-cleavable linker and a tubulin binder payload, into their pipeline. Genmab's $1.8 billion purchase of Profound Bio added ADCs with proprietary hydrophilic linkers designed for enhanced delivery and pharmacokinetics, including a promising candidate for advanced ovarian care. Merck's $1.4 billion collaboration with Caris Life Sciences aims to uncover new ADC targets through advanced molecular profiling. Here are the top antibody biotech deals in 2024. Topping the list is AbbVie and ImmunoGen, where AbbVie will access ImmunoGen's ADC Elahere and ADC pipeline for solid tumors, acute myeloid leukemia, and more, with a deal value of $10.1 billion. Here are some top startup debuts, with Zyra Therapeutics having $1 billion granted on April 24, 2024. Zyra aims to help re-engineer the discovery and development of medicines through end-to-end application of advanced machine learning and AI research and expansive data generation to power new models. Their platform will also use laboratory and clinical experiments for rich data generation. Candid Therapeutics received $370 million in Series A financing on September 9, 2024. Candid Therapeutics is dedicated to advancing the treatment of a range of immunological conditions. 2 T-cell engager antibodies that can deplete specific B lymphocyte cell populations are being repositioned for autoimmune indications. We also have Uniquity Bio with a $300 million grant on May 15, 2024. Uniquity Bio is developing novel medicines in immunology and inflammation. Their lead candidate is selrikitug, a monoclonal antibody targeting TSLP. It is set to enter phase 2 trials for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and asthma, which affects over 260 million people globally. The size of global monoclonal antibody therapeutics market in terms of revenue is estimated to be worth $252.6 billion in 2024 and is projected to reach $497.5 billion by 2029, growing at a CAGR of 14.5% from 2024 to 2029. This expansion is being driven by an increasing prevalence of complex diseases, advancements in biotechnology facilitating targeted treatments, regulatory support expediting approval processes, and robust investments in research and development. Besides monoclonals, the global cancer antibody-drug conjugates market is poised to surpass $50 billion by 2030. This is fueled by the rise of approvals and groundbreaking therapies, with currently 16 ADCs having received licensing, with additional candidates in the pipeline. Here are some antibodies to watch in 2025. For example, Johnson & Johnson's nipocalimab targets FcRn and is a monoclonal antibody. It aims to treat autoimmune diseases and is currently in review in the US and in the EU. On August 29th of this year, it received breakthrough therapy designation in the US. Biointron provides antibody discovery, production, and optimization services. From gene sequence to purified antibodies, it takes just 2 weeks for a high-throughput recombinant antibody production. We also have bispecific antibodies, afucosylated antibodies, single B-cell screening, hybridoma sequencing, antibody optimization, recombinant protein expression, CHOK1 stable cell line generation, and small-scale packages for antibody production in less than 8 days with RushMab. We also have VHH antibody discovery with our self-owned alpaca farm, and our collaboration with Cyogen for AB-Drop and Hugo AB high-throughput fully human antibody discovery platform, where you can get fully human antibodies in only 3 months. Thank you for watching, and please contact us to learn more.